What if I told you the next global energy superpower isn't the United States, Saudi Arabia, or Russia, but Burkina Faso? That's right. Beneath the dry, cracked surface of the Sahel, a secret has emerged that could tilt the axis of global power. 100 billion barrels of crude oil, buried and untouched until now. And leading this explosive transformation is none other than Captain Ibrahim Traoré. But what happens when an African soldier doesn't hand over the keys to foreign corporations? When the black gold is guarded not by Wall Street, but by Burkina boots on the ground? This isn't just a headline, it's a historical rupture. And it all started with one extraordinary discovery. When news broke that Burkina Faso was sitting on one of the largest crude oil reserves in modern memory, the world gasped. But Captain Traoré didn't. He had already been preparing for a moment like this. For decades, Burkina Faso had been trapped in a cycle of underdevelopment, foreign debt, and extractive contracts where outsiders raked in billions while the people were left with nothing. That era, according to Traoré, ends now. This oil find wasn't luck. It was destiny colliding with readiness. Traoré didn't wait for foreign investors to knock. He called in his national energy experts. He rallied engineers. He set in motion a plan to build the first fully sovereign oil economy in West Africa. Think of it. Oil rigs designed, built, and run by Burkina. Refineries operated with local know-how. Export contracts negotiated not from a position of dependence, but from a position of strength. This wasn't just oil for profit. It was oil for independence. Oil for dignity. Oil to break free. Around the world, powerful nations began watching closely. France remained silent. The United States issued subtle warnings. China showed quiet interest. But Traoré stayed focused. For him, the discovery wasn't just a financial windfall. It was an opportunity to break the historical chains that kept Africa last. Those 100 billion barrels were more than a resource. They were leverage, legacy, and a launch pad. The Sahel is no longer a forgotten zone. It's now the heartbeat of a continental rebirth. While whispers of a new global scramble began to circulate among diplomats and oil tycoons, Captain Traoré made one thing absolutely clear. Burkina Faso's oil would be developed on Burkinabe terms, or not at all. Gone are the days of technical assistance masking exploitation, of aid packages laced with conditions, of contracts rigged against the people. Instead, Traoré unveiled a bold strategy: create a state-run oil consortium that fuses national pride with strategic alliances, one that partners only with those who respect sovereignty, not plunder it. He named it Petro Sahel. But this wasn't just a company, it was a movement. It was modeled on Norway's approach to oil, but adapted with a distinctly African spirit. The profits wouldn't disappear into offshore accounts. They'd be reinvested into public infrastructure, schools, and direct cash transfers to citizens. Corporations looking to profit from Burkina Faso's wealth must now agree to job training, clean energy reinvestment, and return at least 30% of revenue directly to the nation. Some in the West call the model rigid. Traoré calls it revolutionary. Already, the effects are rippling through Burkina Faso. Schools are retraining students to become engineers, not just dreamers. Hospitals are planning new wings. Even before a single barrel has been pumped, hope is flowing like oil through the streets. This isn't just about economic gain. It's a shift in mindset, a message that the 21st century energy revolution won't be dictated by the global north. It will be shaped in the heart of Africa. You don't protect 100 billion barrels of oil with prayers alone. Traoré knew this the moment geologists confirmed the reserves. Overnight, he authorized Operation Black Shield, a military-industrial strategy to secure oil zones, build fortified refineries, and train elite units in energy asset defense. History has shown Africa what happens when its natural wealth is left unprotected. Traoré, a soldier first and strategist second, was determined not to repeat those mistakes. He brought in support from Russia and Iran, not as overlords, but as tactical allies. Burkina Faso's defense systems were upgraded with drones, radar, and mobile battalions. Each oil rig is now guarded like a national monument. The message was clear. These barrels are not for sale, not for theft, and not for manipulation. They are a shield of sovereignty. Even more remarkably, the military isn't just protecting the oil. They're helping build the pipelines and infrastructure needed to move it. In this new model, national wealth demands national strength, and Burkina Faso is standing tall on its own. But while oil rigs and soldiers capture headlines, something equally powerful is happening in the classrooms. After the discovery, Traoré didn't just meet with oil executives. He summoned educators. Because what good is a resource if your people can't manage it themselves? Almost overnight, vocational schools began offering programs in petroleum engineering. Universities created fast-track degrees in geology, energy law, and refinery logistics. Scholarships poured into rural areas, especially where the oil was found. The message to the youth was simple. This oil belongs to you, so learn how to control it. From Ouagadougou to Bobo Dioulasso, a new generation is rising, one that won't need to hire experts from abroad. Textbooks are being rewritten. Colonial histories are being replaced with manuals on hydrocarbon cycles and global energy contracts. This is more than education. It's empowerment. It's sovereignty in syllables. But perhaps the most surprising twist in Traoré's oil strategy is this. He didn't abandon green energy. He used the oil to power it. Western critics mocked him for drilling in an age of climate urgency. But Traoré had a bigger vision. He called the oil a bridge, not an endpoint. A bridge to fund massive solar farms, wind corridors, and hydroelectric projects. For every barrel extracted, a portion goes into a green transition fund, dedicated solely to sustainable energy development. Solar plants are now being built beside oil fields. Schools and clinics are getting power from solar grids funded by crude oil profits. This is poetic justice. The darkness beneath now powers the light above. The West is baffled, but Burkinabe citizens are inspired. They understand what Traoré is doing, using what's under their feet to fuel what lies ahead. He's not choosing oil over renewables. He's using oil to buy time, time to transition, time to build, time to lead. In one of his most powerful addresses, Traoré turned his focus not just to economics or environment, but to the spiritual crisis fueling insecurity in the region. He made a heartfelt plea to religious leaders, both local and international, to take action. This violence done in the name of Islam is not Islam, he said. We must speak clearly and loudly to the lost brothers holding guns in the bush. He plans to gather Islamic leaders from across the world to issue united declarations. For Traoré, peace is part of the oil strategy. Without it, development is meaningless. Meanwhile, global powers are growing restless. Energy analysts in London, Riyadh, and Washington are quietly recalibrating projections. Why? Because this oil reserve doesn't just represent supply, it represents influence. With 100 billion barrels, Traoré can rival mid-level OPEC nations. And with his fierce independence, he's not here to play by the old rules. Diplomats are rushing to Ouagadougou. Surveillance tech firms are pitching discreet contracts. But Traoré isn't flinching. Instead, he's building alliances across the continent. Algeria and Mali are already showing signs of cooperation. Guinea has hinted at joint pipeline ventures. And if BRICS decides to fund his refinery ambitions, that's the beginning of a new energy bloc, one that's African first and globally respected second. Every deal Traoré delays, every demand he makes, echoes through the halls of the IMF and the World Bank. They know what's coming. A young African leader, unbought and unafraid, holding the golden key to energy independence and wielding it with precision. But this isn't just about high diplomacy. Traoré made sure that the people who live atop the oil fields aren't just spectators. He visited the villages personally. He met with elders. He asked for partnership, not permission. Under his new model, these communities get direct shares of oil revenue. Not later, but now. The funds are used for clean water, schools, microloans, broadband internet, and women's entrepreneurship. From potters opening craft schools to fishermen becoming solar farmers, the oil boom is creating grassroots revolutions. And for once, the people closest to the oil aren't being displaced. They're being empowered. The villages are not in the way of development. They are at the center of it. And they're seeing something rare in politics: follow-through. Ibrahim Traoré could have taken the easy route. He could have signed away contracts, enriched himself, and walked away. But he chose a harder path. A path defined not by profit, but by purpose. He's turning oil into a tool of liberation. He's building schools, fueling dignity, and igniting national pride. The world is watching, some in awe, others in fear. Because if Burkina Faso succeeds, the old system breaks. No more resource curses, no more Western domination, just African autonomy, fierce, focused, and irreversible. This isn't just an oil boom, it's the start of a revolution. And Ibrahim Traoré, he's not just participating, he's leading it. Don't blink. The age of African energy has arrived. And this story, it's only just beginning.